Adventure in Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
This is the Pipeman here on the Adventures of Pipeman W4CY Radio at Milwaukee Metal Fest, and I'm here with
Sean Killian from VIO-LENCE.
Nice. Oh my God, I gotta tell you, first off, before we talk about this festival, I saw you guys at the Culture Room just a few days ago in Lauderdale. And so I go on tour and I do coverage at music festivals all over the US, UK, and Europe. I rarely do shows in my home area because I don't really like the South Florida venues, but I do love Culture Room.
Yeah,
and
cool.
Oh my God, that was one of the best shows ever. Like,
awesome.
That was insane.
Yeah, thank you.
How did you play? Because I heard from other bands at that same show, they're like, that was one of the best shows of the tour. How did you feel about being in Lauderdale?
Well, I love the show was great. You know, I love the venue. For me, it's like everywhere we play, it's like, you know, I don't go on stage and go, rah, 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 rah. I try to talk to the people and make a connection so that we all feel like we're one and the same. Like the band and the crowd are one because, you know, the bands need the fans and the fans like the music. So when we all get together to do any show anywhere, it has that same feel, and I try to bring that vibe of connection, you know, between us and the fans.
And I think that's totally cool, especially after doing it for so many years.
Yeah.
Because there's some bands that aren't like that. They're just like going through the motion. And when somebody like you doing what you're doing, that tells me that A, you're a fan first.
Yes.
B, you love what you're doing and you're not like just dialing it in anymore.
No, I never dial it in. Every night's like a new night and a new crowd with new faces, a new experience. You know, we have a 40-minute set, a 45, and a 1-hour set because some of the venues the times change. But, it's always the same. It's just us having a good time on stage and trying to bring to the crowd the same feeling, you know, of enjoying ourselves, you know, and not being up there just kind of playing music, but you know, providing an emotional connection. So I'm always like looking in the crowd, trying to look people in the eyes and let them know I know you're out there. You know, it's important.
I was watching you do that too, and you were talking to people directly. Like a lot of times, and I know what it's like because I'm also a speaker. So when you're up on stage, sometimes it's hard to focus on specific people, especially you don't want to offend other people. But I watched you walking around and you were directly pointing at whoever you were talking to, they knew you were talking to them.
Yeah, for sure. And that's why it's so, and I don't have anything scripted, right? Because every night's a new experience. So I get the crowd feedback. You know, I feel out the room and it's like, yeah, okay. What's funny is I forget where we were and I'm all, oh, you got such beautiful ladies here, you know. All the ladies raise your hand. And this dude raised his hand in the front. And I'm all, I'm sorry. You're not a woman. And the funny part is later on, he came up to me. He's an old friend of mine's son.
Oh, my God, that's so funny.
I knew when he was 4 years old.
You just never know who's out there, right?
You just don't know. And that's part of the experience, you know.
You don't know whose life you're going to change either.
That's it, too.
You know? I know for me, back in the 80s, I was at Slayer's first show ever, Metallica's first show ever.
Oh, yeah.
That shit changed my life.
Oh, yeah.
And then, you know, when they bailed on us and went up to the Bay Area, me and my bro would hitchhike up to the Bay Area, and I'm like, oh, this is what a real show's like.
Coming up here.
Yeah, this is a real show now.
So my first experience with Slayer was at the Keystone Berkeley. I think that was their first trip up. They still had the black makeup. And I think they played Ruthie's the next week, and so they hung out at the Exodus house with Paul and Gary and those guys. And they told them, you can't do that up here. So the very next weekend at Ruthie's Inn, no makeup, same guys, you know, same vibe, but no makeup. And Ruthie's Inn was just a nut house.
That's so funny because that's the second Tom Araya story that has been verified in a week, okay?
All right.
Meaning, what I mean by that is, you know, me as a teenager, as a fan, you hear these things. Do you know if it really happened or is it just metal lore?
No.
You know? And I remember always knowing that. I talked about it on interviews before. Slayer went up to the Bay Area with their dark eyeliner, and Exodus was like, hey, that shit don't fly up here.
No.
And they're like, oh, it's not the glam stuff, it's for evil. We don't give a fuck. Take that shit off.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, I saw Megadeth when they first came back up at Ruthie's Inn. I think there might have been 110 people maybe. But, it was like you're standing right in front of Dave Mustaine. He's playing, Killing Is My Business and all those. And then when Suicidal would come up, it was like, man, these dudes are scary.
Oh, in L.A. they were scary before they crossed over. I couldn't go into their pits. There were Suey boys with pit with switchblades. Like, fuck that.
Yeah, but they came up as a gang.
Yeah, because that's what they were. That's what they were, too.
And I remember I stood right in front of Rocky because I was just like, I got to be right here because this dude shreds like there's nobody's business. And, so that was one of the experiences. I also went to high school with Cliff Burton.
Wow.
So anytime on Ride the Lightning and Master of Puppet, they were in town, he'd call me, hey, Sean, come on, tech for me, So I remember teching for him during the Ride the Lightning tour at the Sacramento Auditorium. They were supporting Y&T.
Wow.
So me and Jimmy Martin and Cliff jumped in his piece of shit Cliff's piece of shit Datsun and rode up to Sacramento. Yeah, what an experience.
Oh, man. It's just like when I was talking to Ted from Death Angel, we were like, man, we could tell a lot of stories because there's so many stories from back then.
Many stories.
Like you mentioned Mustaine, and it just instantly took me back because that first Metallica show that I went to, there were like 25 people, 25 of us, and Mustaine gets off the stage after the set, he comes up to me and starts talking to me. I was like 13. And he hands me his business card.
Oh.
And it said, Metallica, Power Metal, Dave Mustaine, because there was no word thrash yet.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So Metallica was Power Metal for a minute.
Yeah, well, and there was no social media. There was, we would send out cassette tapes and
the tape trading days.
Interviews, and it was amazing.
Well, how I got into it, you'll love this, is so in L.A. there was this record store in the Valley called Oz Records. And there was this record store clerk there. Anybody from that time I tell this story to because it blows her mind. And there was this dude, he was a record store clerk, and he just kept, showing us different albums we needed to buy and then show us shows we had to go to. It was Brian Slagle.
Oh, my gosh. How great is that?
He had just started Metal Blade. So, I walked up to him a few years ago. I'm like, man, that was a pretty brilliant marketing idea. He goes, I was just a record store clerk. He didn't do it on purpose, but it was a brilliant marketing thing.
Yeah, he fell into it.
Because me and all my friends, we went to every show he recommended, bought every album he recommended. It's like there was a story confirmed a few days ago when I was interviewing Dante from Venom, and I didn't bring it up. He brought it up when you had the Slayer Exodus Venom show. There was a fight backstage.
Yeah.
And Kronos punched out Tom Araya. And again, could have been lore. We all talked about it, but do we know? We didn't see it.
But you can probably imagine that could happen.
It definitely could happen.
Especially with Kronos.
Right, exactly. So it's like, it is wild, too, to think of bands like you guys and everybody else from that era are still playing today, because you think back to that time. Did you ever think in 2026 you'd be playing a metal festival?
I mean, I was 22 when Eternal Nightmare came out, and Dean I think was 18, and we were just some punks writing a record. And the funny part is they had a singer, Jerry Burr, and I worked with Dean and Phil, and Dean told me, well, Jerry quit the band. And so we don't have a singer. So I went up to Phil and said, hey, man, I heard your singer quit the band. He's all, yeah. I says, well, I'll try that.
I love it.
He's all, have you ever sung in a band before? I'm all, no, but, what do I have to lose? What do you have to lose? You don't have a singer now. So
exactly.
They gave me the lyrics, and they were atrocious. So I wrote Eternal Nightmare. It was the first lyrics I ever wrote. And went in there and tried out, and they're like, who the fuck's this guy think he is, It's like coming in here. It doesn't sound like anything that we're hoping to sound like, and then he's rewriting our lyrics, and so I never got a call. I never got a call back. So I saw Phil at Ruthie's, and he's all, well, we brought Jerry back, and and then 2 weeks later I get a call. Hey, so Jerry left again, and we have a show in 5 days at Ruthie's Inn. I was like, all right, I'll do that. So I wrote a few more songs. I can't even remember what songs they were, but I didn't remember the lyrics, so I'm up there on the stage going, in the microphone. I think there was probably 75 people at the most. But Chris Contos was right in front of me, smashing his skateboard onto the stage. Like, yeah.
That's fucking killer.
Yeah.
Oh, but listen, that's real live music. I remember being at the US Festival. Van Halen headline Heavy Metal Day. I don't get that, but
sure.
That was then. David, they're playing Talking About Love, and David didn't start singing yet. And Eddie's looking over and like, what the fuck? And Dave just in the microphone to 300,000 people goes, I fucking forgot the words. And the whole place cheered like it was the best thing that ever happened, man.
Because he became real at that moment.
Exactly.
In time,
There was one heckler, though.
Yeah.
And it's on videos. He's famous for it. The guy said something, and David turned to him and he goes, I will fuck your girlfriend.
Now, that may or may not have happened, that he actually fucked his girlfriend. But
yeah, that could be. It could have happened after that, too. She probably was like, oh, shit, he'll fuck me?
Yeah. She was like, hey, wait a minute. I got to go to the restroom.
Yeah, right? Oh, my God. So,
yeah, so fun times,
Yeah, totally.
I try to keep that alive with, what we do. It's not about, it's not an act, right? It's like, it is what it is, and it's real, and when you come see the band, you get, I hope you leave with that sense of, holy shit,
And that's the way it should
And
be.
touring with Death Angel, though we were both from the Bay Area thrash metal scene, we have very different crowds, and so it's great for us to be out there with them, because then a lot of people that never heard of us or never seen us before get to experience that. And so I get a lot of people come up to me after the show, man, I never heard of you guys ever. You fucking just blew my mind, so.
Well, the first time I ever heard you guys was even kind of after I was in the scene, and I saw that album cover.
Awesome. Yeah, at Repka.
And I was like, I gotta buy that album. Because
Yeah.
that's how we bought albums back then. You looked at the album cover like, fuck, that's
You can go
cool.
on Spotify.
Right? I remember Brian Slagle, the first album he showed me was Welcome to Hell. I'm like, oh my God. Because there was nothing like that yet.
Yeah.
That was like, it was even scary. I said to Dante, I was like I was reading the lyrics while I'm listening, and I was like, this is fucking scary shit.
Yeah.
But still some of my favorite shit ever.
Yeah. And Possessed.
Oh, I got to tell you a story about Possessed. First, though, check this out. That's my 80s battle vest.
Oh, that's awesome.
And you just
And you drew that.
I drew everything on here. Slayer didn't even have a patch yet, so I just got this vinyl letter, or this felt lettering, and put it on. People in LA thought I was in a gang, and that was my gang names. So,
Wow, that's incredible.
And speaking of Venom, look at those Venom patches.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Oh, they've worn out.
Yeah, they were in the pit. They were in the pit.
Yeah.
There's blood on this thing,
Awesome.
everything. So you mentioned Possessed. Funny because I was at the first crossover show ever in LA. It was at Elks Lodge. The metal side was Possessed, Dark Angel, and Savage Grace. And the punk side was the Descendants, Suicidal before they crossed over.
Sure.
And who else was it on the punk? Oh, and COC.
Oh, wow.
Who's playing here.
Wasn't that turning into fights and...
It was interesting because it was a lodge. It wasn't a venue. There was no security.
Oh.
And in those times, as you know, if you were a long hair and went to a punk show, you got your ass beat. You were a punk and went to a metal show, you got your ass beat, which was I always thought was stupid.
Stupid, yeah.
We were both getting our asses kicked by the jocks in school. Shouldn't we band together instead of kicking each other's asses?
Yeah, exactly.
But this show, I have such a visual in my mind because there's, it was one of those albums. I forget which one. I think it was like a Dark Angel album or something where the people are flying through the air because it was literally people were climbing up on the rafters and diving and I saw people flying throughout. There was no safe place to hide. If you wanted a safe place from the pit, there was none.
No.
Maybe the next town, but not there.
Yeah.
You know, and it's funny because I interviewed both Mike and Woody from COC, and I just brought up, I'm like, hey, I was at this show. It's the first crossover show. And they immediately said it was in Elks Lodge, wasn't it? And they both said that was the most epic show ever. Because it was insane.
Yeah.
Like, there was no rules. And
that's perfect.
No holds barred.
Yeah.
But that's what brought us to where we are today, because now there's really no distinction between the two.
And you know, my influences were punk rock. You know, I was listening to Fear and GBH and, you know, all these bands. And, you know, of course I listened to Black Sabbath, and then I started listening to Bonded by Blood and all that. You know, me and Paul were good friends. We hung out a lot. And, but it was my influences were mostly punk rock because, you know, like GBH, you see him up there singing and he's just in the crowd's face. And I was like, yeah, you know, it should be like that. That's how this shit should be, always.
100%.
Yeah. And then Lee Ving's just tormenting anyone. And you know, he was the baddest.
How about Darby?
Yeah, and he was the baddest ass, like, just fuck you fucking asshole.
I know, it's great. And, you know, it's funny because I was always bummed out because I loved GBH, I loved Discharge, I loved the Exploited, Dead Kennedys, all of it. I couldn't go to their shows because I was a long hair.
Yeah.
I remember even one time I had my punk friends bring me to Posers on Melrose, which was the place you should get your spikes, but it was a punk place.
Yeah.
We walk in. And I brought my friends because they were friends with the owners and they were punks, so I thought it was cool. There for 30 seconds, my friend comes up to me. He's like, we need to leave. And I'm like, what do you mean? Trust me, we just need to leave right now.
Sure.
And it basically said when we went outside, he goes, yeah, the owners, because we're friends with them, they gave us the courtesy. They pulled us aside and said, we need to take you out of there or else they were going to kick the shit out of you.
Yeah.
You know?
It's amazing, huh?
Right?
And now it's like,
now it doesn't even matter.
no, not at all.
So that's what I love. And that's what I love about this festival here, because it does combine all of us together. It's not just one micro genre type of thing, you know? And bands like you can play and all these other bands are playing, and we're just all here escaping the bullshit of the world.
Yeah.
And one united family.
That Matrix world.
Oh, my God. I have a solution to all the world's problems. You want to hear it?
Let's hear it.
One music festival that is a metal music festival that everybody in the world is required to go to, and we could just work all our shit out in the pit.
There you go.
You know?
Exactly.
Because that's where you work it out. Like I've saved myself from killing people by going in the pit.
Yeah.
You know, people don't realize it's not about hurting people. It's therapy.
It is therapy for a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of, especially these young kids. It's like, and that's what I'll say too about this music. It's generational.
Yeah.
It's not a fad like all this crap you hear on the radio. You know, the kids today that I meet at the show, some 14, some younger with their parents, but they're, you know, it's like they heard us because of the social or the algorithms of Spotify and all these other music sources, and then we pop up and they're like, yeah, and then I thought I'd never see you, and here you are, you know. And they're
so there's the positive of Spotify right there. A lot of artists complain. There's the positive right there.
It spreads the music to the different generations of kids.
Well, and proof of that is, like when I do these festivals, sometimes I take my grandson, who's 15, and I've taken 3 of my grandkids in their first pit ever. My dad would have never gone to a show with me.
No.
Like, I love being at these festivals and seeing multi-generations there. Even, remember back then, we wouldn't have gone to see a 60-year-old Metallica.
No.
You know? It just wouldn't have happened. But nowadays, you go to these shows and it's like, oh my God, how do these kids even know about these bands?
Exactly.
And you just gave the answer.
That's the answer, yeah.
I love it.
And I love it too. It's just great to see them. And, you know, on this tour, which is 36 shows with Death Angel and Insight, you know, there's a lot of spots where I see parents, like, last night, this kid, or the other night, this kid was like, he probably was 6, and his dad had him there, right? But I make it a point to go over and acknowledge him.
Yeah.
Because
it
then
makes their life.
Then he's like, wow. I mean, and he looks at his dad, and he's looking at me, he's looking at his dad, and I'm like, yeah. And then it's a cool thing. But this music, like I said, it's multi-generational. It'll never die. As much as normies want it to be dead, they can want what they want, but it's never gonna die.
All you gotta do is go to these festivals and realize it. Like, people say it's dead.
Yeah.
It's far from it. Like,
No.
you would never have, and I just did Welcome to Rockville. I'm going to Download. I do Hellfest.
Yeah.
Hundreds of thousands of people. That's not dead.
Yeah. No. Not at all.
And we're just one big family, and that's what people don't understand. Like, this is where all the outsiders are on the inside.
Yeah. We played this festival in, I think it was 94.
Wow.
Maybe, yeah. And Adam Deuce, because Dean couldn't make it, he played bass with us.
Nice.
And the original guitar player, Troy Fua, played guitar because I can't remember. Rob might have already started Machine Head at the time, and we didn't have somebody to fill in. So, we called Troy. Hey, man, come on, let's go do this Milwaukee Metal Fest. Dude, it was so humid and hot here, and that's when the Ambassador was still red velvet, right, and all kinds of prostitutes in the bar. Yeah, I think Jeffrey was probably hanging out in the hotel at the time we were there. Dahmer. So
oh my God, that's wild.
And now here we are back again.
Here you are.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot of years later.
A lot of years. Yeah.
Wow.
Now,
so
thank you to Jamie Joseph for
how'd that
having
happen?
the foresight to bring this back.
Yeah, and how'd that happen that Jamie had you guys come play?
Well, we were on tour with Death Angel and Insight, so my manager, she weaseled this in here.
Just made sense because you're all together anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, what a great grouping for a tour, for sure. Yeah. Great show. I'm so glad you're here at Milwaukee Metal Fest, and thanks for being on the Adventures of Pipeman.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Cheers.
Cheers.
This is Sean Killian from VIO-LENCE on the Pipeman's Radio Show on W4CY Metal.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.